Okay, we're going to try again. So, long story short, I went and found, let me throw that away over there. Long story short, I am directly connected to the internet. I got rid of the Wi-Fi. Okay? I guess this, I don't know if it's the computer or the Wi-Fi or what, but it has interrupted my lives a few times. So now I have a 50-foot Wi-Fi cord strung across. So now this, we are going to cut 9.5, and we've already established that this is 4. So we're going to cut these 4 by 9.5. Okay? And this is, let me make sure. Let's see if it's exactly, yes, it's exactly 12. So we need to cut exactly 2.5 off of this. Let me get rid of my glue book for a second. I'll lay that right there, Eddie. And we are going to cut this off 2.5 inches. And yes, I'm cutting it by hand because I want it to be more precise. And we're going to have to do it in the middle and just along this side because I need to see my lines. Because you'll see I want it to be precise. And again, I'm sorry for the internet drama, and we will see if this direct cord works. I knew in my old craft room, I moved, my other craft room is now my son's bedroom. And my first craft room. And I moved it around and had to have a longer internet cable. My computer was old. It was pre Wi-Fi, and it was not Wi-Fi compatible. So I had to have a cord, right? I'm trying to open this. Live chat. We want live chat, not talk chat. Okay. All right. Alrighty. So I'm set up. So my computer was old. It was not internet compatible. So it had to have a cord. Well, when I moved my craft room, I needed a longer cord. And my daughter, I don't know why, bought a 50-foot cord for a little 10 by 10 bedroom. Maybe that's all they had, probably. So we're cutting 2.5 off of this because we need it to be 9.5, right? Let me double check. Measure twice, cut once, right? Okay. And we need this to be, hey, Mindy. And we need this to be 4 inches wide. Which it looks like it is 5 wide. So we need to cut 1 inch off of this. And I don't see an inch on here. Okay, we'll just, nope, we can't do that. I'm gonna struggles today. So anyway, I had to feed that internet cable. I cut a hole. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Alrighty. So we have got this cut, 4 by 9.5, and they are just shy of, you can see they're just shy of filling up the cover. All right. So we are going to glue these down. Let me get my glue book. Okay. I cannot believe I'm having so much trouble with this today. Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't this getting about out of hand? If it quits again, I'm done with lives forever. I'm over it. But I wanted to work through it because I want to do lives. And like I said, I have friends on YouTube that haven't made a journal yet. And so now, mind you, I'm no expert, but I've figured out what I like, how to get around stuff, what to do, what not to do. I don't know. I might be able to teach somebody something. You think? Let's see. And I like this as the top. And yes, that will be the top. So we are going to put this on here. It's going to be close to the edge. It's too long. Okay. And here's my favorite agate bone folder. Well, I guess it's not an agate bone folder if it's agate. I mean, bone folder if it's agate, right? My favorite agate tool. Right? Now that one's a little crooked, and that's okay. We're just gonna get around it. We can fix it. We can fix anything. This is my trick that I learned from my sister of how not to get wrinkles in your page. Spread down glue and then spread it out with the glue stick. Okay? Now, I learned this from Melinda, and I've already done a video on it. And that's the top. Okay. Where my bone folder go? I guess I'm going to keep calling it a bone folder even though it's not bone. There it is. Okay. Now, I like hold on, let me get this. Good. Okay, there, we fixed it. Now this we will just ink a little more along that edge. And that's fine. Alrighty. And the tops need trimmed. And that's easy. You want to cut these just shy of the full size, but I guess I didn't measure close enough. Okay, so there, we've covered that neatly. You can see we're neat along the edges. Okay, but that's just an easy way so you don't have to wrap it around and run into any problems with wrapping it around the cover. Just ink the edges and cut it a little shy. And then you've covered it nicely. See? See how neat that looks? So that's kind of a cheat. Now the inside, I like it to be covered in cardstock. And remember, we've already trimmed the edges so the sides open. Okay? And I don't like to cover it. It's impossible to try to cover it. And it's hard to get stuff, when you cover it, it's hard to get stuff in and out of the pockets. So that's why I've come to this. I've decided that I like the pockets to open on the outside. Then it's easier to get stuff in and out. And then you don't have to fight with this. And number one, it's stupid to cover it. And number two, it's hard to get stuff in and out. All right? And if you've done any, you know exactly what I mean. And I'm just going to grab a piece of cardstock over here somewhere. Okay. I'll get it out of the cupboard. Now the inside I like to cover with cardstock weight because I think it just finishes it better. Okay. And first I'm going to fold it and get my glue book out of the way. No, I better leave it for a second. And on the inside, I'm going to fold it there. And fold it there. Okay. And we are going to just there. So we got that nice and scored because that's going to be our middle. All right. And then we're going to have to trim it. Let's see how much. I've got it right up against the bottom there. Okay, I'm going to have to trim that off because, no, that's fine. It was a little crooked looking. It looked a little crooked. So I'm going to measure this again. Now let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh yeah, it is not quite 9.5. That's why it was bigger. So we are going to cut this 9 7/8. Okay, just under 9.5 wide. And then here on the inside, we're going to cut that 8, or we're going to cut it 4 wide by just under 9.5. Okay, I'm going to do this on my other cutting mat because it's bigger. Okay. And what did I say? 9. Just shy under 9.5. Yes, 9.5 is too big. And I like to cut by hand because it is more precise for me personally. I don't like to. Now, if I'm doing in bulk or something, I might. Well, I think I probably did when I made 30 of these at a time. Okay. Now we are we're at 9. We're going to do 9 and 7/8. Okay. Alrighty. Now you can see, or let's see. Yes. Now I cut that a little shy on the end because the last time I cut it too long. So see that? That's a little bit blank. So we're just going to ink it a little more. And that'll be fine. Okay. Now we are going to have to, and cardstock, I don't need to do the glue trick on the cardstock because, welcome back. I'm sorry. What I had to do was fish out a 50-foot internet cord and I'm plugged in directly to the internet. Okay. So it shouldn't happen again. So since this is cardstock, it won't warp as bad with the glue, and I'm going to glue on the envelope instead of the cardstock because I want to glue around this. So you don't want to glue your cardstock to that. You want to keep that clear for your pocket, right? You're fine, happens all. Well, third time charm. Let's see. Now I see we've got a little flap going on here, so I'm going to glue that down. And here, so I'm going to glue that down. And that is just so you don't see it after it's assembled when you're trying to get in and out of the pocket. Okay. And we've got here. And here. Because we just don't want to, we don't want to see something like that that doesn't look finished when we're done trying to get in and out of the pocket. That'd be dumb, right? Okay. Now we're just going to glue, and you could use double-sided tape if you want. I'm getting the hang of glue. Just using less and less. I sent a girl a journal yesterday, and then we were video chatting, and she held something up, and it was an envelope with the side flap sticking up, and I said, "Did that come unglued?" And she said, "Yeah, I've got lots of glue." And I was like, I've been going so shy on glue because glue ruins everything if you do too much. And I sent her something, an envelope. The flap came unglued. How stupid is that? Okay. Now, one thing you can do, one trick, since we're not going to spread this out. Where'd it go? Oh, it's over here. Since we're not going to spread this out with the glue stick, you can just use, I just trimmed this off. So you can do something like this to spread it out if you want. Right? Oh, just scrap the cardstock. And then that spreads it out good. And then hopefully our edges get glued well, right? I'm getting close to having 3 journals done. Wow. Yeah, I'm getting ready to get into mini stuff too. I love it. Okay. Now we've got that glued down. How about that? And then I think that makes such a nice finish to the inside of a journal. You know, don't you think? It finishes it so nicely. So then there's your cover for an envelope journal. And we've got more gluing to do and more to touch up, and I see. Alrighty. Now we will make inserts for these next time or another time, okay? Because we got to put something in there, right? So there's your envelope. We stuck 2 envelopes together. We covered the outside. We inked the edges and covered the outside. And we inked the edges and covered the inside. How about that? And that's all there is to it for the cover of an envelope journal. Now you can do more. You can get fancy. You can get all kinds of crazy. Look here. You can, this one is smaller, so it will work. Look here. You can make it flat. How about we do that? You want to do that? And then we'll cover it too. We'll ink and cover it too. Oh, no. No, I don't want to use that one. What I'm going to do is ink the outside. So then we can still use our pocket. From the inside. Okay? Because if we ink the inside, then that would close this pocket. So if we ink the outside, we can still get to the pocket from the inside. Okay? Does that make sense? Or did I overcomplicate something? That's obvious. Okay. Are we still live? Are y'all still here? You can turn the flap backwards in it. Oh, yeah. Well, what I did was this. And that's fine too. So then we can still get to our inside pocket. And then when we cover this, maybe we'll cover some of that. We'll cover that up. Okay? Right? So I like that. That's a fun trick. Right? Now this one, I'm going to do something. No, I'll do that after I'll do that after. Let me get another piece of pink cardstock. This cardstock will strengthen it too. Let me measure. I know I should know what this is by now, but this is a different envelope, so we're measuring. So we are going to make that 9 and 2 notches less than a half. 9 and, what is it, 3/8? Okay, 9 and 3/8. Final answer. 9 and 3/8. And we are going to make it 6 wide, just to shove it down in there. No, let's see. Let's see if all of it'll fit. Nope. I still need to cut off. Okay, we'll cut off the 1/2 inch just so we're below the. I'm stepping away to cut on my big cutting mat by hand because I'm OCD like that. I like to cut by hand when I can. Okay. Now I'm going to lay this like that because I know which ends up, and I've got 2. Yes, that's perfect. Then you can still use the envelope on the first one. Yeah. Yeah, putting the flap backwards would have worked, or I just attached the back side of the flap. Did we already go through all that? I'm sorry. And I need to cut this off because I want that to be, no, I want that to be, yeah, I want that to open on the top. And I will show you what I'm going to do about that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm too far back. I'm on my yoga ball. And I roll around and bounce around on it. So if I disappear or whatever, I roll back. I have back issues, and the yoga ball seems to help because your spine, your tailbone is not resting on a hard surface. It's not holding any of your weight. You're sitting kind of forward on your bottom. So then your back, your tailbone, your very back side of your back is not absorbing any weight. So that's why a yoga ball helps me. But I think you're going to like what we're going to do next. You're going to like this. Isn't this pretty? Who was it that said pink? Was it Butterfly Charms, or is that her name? The one that wants Christmas paper? Somebody, I said pick a color, and then I think it was her in the second video probably. We're on our 3rd video today. This is great. But I think it was her that said pink. And I think she was right. Oh, I might have to trim this inside. I will, because it won't close. Yeah, it might. Crap. Well, I guess I will have to trim the outside, and that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to trim the top, but I'm going to have to trim the outside so it has enough clearance. and so it'll fold properly. My gosh, inking takes a long time. And I'm a very messy inker, but I'm going to cover it up. This is just making the edges pink so I don't have to put my paper all the way to the edge. That's all I'm doing now. I'm just covering it up so I can do an easy fix on covering it. Alrighty, that's all we're doing. See, that's pink. That's pink now. Okay. So now, this is our top. Is it going to cover good enough? Well, not quite. We might have to run a piece of washi along that. How about that? Okay. Now what I'm going to do, while I have it here, I'm going to, oops, nope. Let's see. That could come just a hair more out, just another millimeter. Crap. Anybody saying anything? Is Mindy getting me in trouble? Is Mindy telling stories on me? Need to know. Okay, we're gonna call that close enough. At some point, you just gotta quit. All right. So what we're going to do is get this right along the edge, but give ourselves enough room down the middle to score. And that will make our life easier. Okay. Now again, we're going to glue on this side, and we don't want to glue this cardstock to here or it will interfere with our pocket. So we are going to glue here. Okay. And if we have to trim off the whole thing, it'll be okay. And I'm not going to glue the inside of that. I don't really see a need, do you? I say the more glue we can save, the better. That's not going anywhere. Okay. Yeah. Now we do need to trim that a hair. Be right back. But we do need to trim this just a hair for another outside opening. Okay. No, I can't tell what's supposed to be straight edge on that. Sometimes these cheap envelopes are wonky. They're not square. So you can't go by the envelope. You just have to kind of lean it. And that's not enough. And this one is open, so that's done. I'm sorry if this is taking me too long. I'm cutting a full 1/8 inch off so we so we so we can fold. So we can trifold. There. Okay. Now this doesn't want to accept. Here's a trick for you guys. What are you making? I am making envelope journals. There's a lady that bought some of my envelope journals. Where's it at? I made a bunch of these. Just simple. I say it in the first part. Just a simple approach to journals. Number one. Number two, to use up my stash. Number three, hopefully to sell a bunch for Christmas gifts. Because I think I'd make a pretty good Christmas gift. Well, one lady bought 4 of them, and then she showed them in a video yesterday, Susan's Heartstrings. And she said something like, I'm determined to make a journal. And I'm like, somebody else commented, me too. And I'm like, well, let me show you how. So I'm starting a series of my own way of making journals. I know everybody has their own way, and you know I'm not an expert, but I could show somebody a thing or two, like what I have learned, what I haven't learned. For example, I went ahead on a whim and made a flap out of this, just showing what all you can do with journals. Well, then it doesn't want to fold neat, and then it caught this top edge and stuff. So I'm going to show you a trick to get it to give a wider spine. Is just score it again. Okay, that's probably pretty good. To score it again, and then that will give it a bit of a spine. So it should wrap around better. I learned this trick off of a girl. You know that people that do their own, whoops, the people that do their own shops and they do vlogs now, like filling orders and making stuff for their shop. And she made notebooks. And she gave it an extra score on the spine for the notebook to fold neatly and flat. So this wasn't wanting to fold right after I added another envelope flap to it. So then it made me think of that trick to give it another line to help it fold flat. You think? Let's see if that works. So we just gave this spine a little bit of width. And I'm well aware that I messed up my edge. But that's okay, because we can fix it. We can fix anything, right? Because see, what I did was that edge lifted up. See, it was close to the edge like this, and then I scored it again, so then it messed this edge up. So we will fix that with washi tape or something. But what it did was gave us a wider spine. So this will have more. See, it gave it a wider spine to fold a little better, right? Pink and white flowers on it. Okay, let's see. Love that pink. Yeah, it's pretty. I don't remember where it came from. I'm uncertain. Now I need to cover this one, and I'm going to wrap it around the inside because that's ugly. I hate that black and white. It might match if And I'm going to see if I can find something pink, maybe a better weight. This is my scrap bin. Well, okay, that'll match, won't it? It's not a better weight, but it'll match. And I'm going to quit cutting stuff by hand because it takes too long. Even though I think it's more perfect. Okay. And I should know what this is, but just in case. Okay, it's shorter than 9.5. And this is 12. So we're cutting off 2.5. Less than 2.5. More than 2.5, I mean. Okay. Final answer. And that didn't feel straight. And it's okay. If it's not perfect, we will just ink it some more. Okay. And we are going to put it here. And it's too long. And it's still too long because I want it to tuck inside. We're done. I'm not even measuring again. We're just done. It's got to be done. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure this. And that, I know I should know by now, but I don't. Okay, we're going to call that 3 7/8. Okay, 3 7/8. A little less. A little shy of that. Okay. Final answer. Now this scorer, gosh, that's hard to say. That'd be easy because it wants to cut through the paper. Okay. Oops. There. Now I'm just going to use this torn out page. And I will do the glue stick trick on this. Y'all don't know what I'm doing, do you? I didn't explain it. So what I'm going to do is I squirt it so it will fill the envelope correctly. And then this will be what I fold around to the inside flap. And I'm going to do that first. Okay. Because I want to cover up that black. It's ugly. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Don't like that. Okay. 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 Yeah. So anyway, the one lady said that she was going to use my journal. She was going to keep one for herself, and use it, and she wants to make a journal. And then I commented, I can do a live showing how to make them, and she was like, count me in. So Susan, this is all for you. Me too, Carrie, love the pink. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the glue stick trick on here. And we can't go all the way to the edge, right? And then, like I said, I've got my own ways of doing things. I've learned what I like, what I don't like. I've gotten a lot of stuff on Amazon Warehouse. Which has probably prompted some of my decisions on what to use and how to use it. I've got lots and lots and lots and lots of envelopes. Okay, now looky here. Now we're going to have to wipe the edge, and that's okay. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? Isn't that pretty? You like? And then what we did was we covered up that black inside, because that's ugly. But it didn't cover it up much. But that's pretty. Yes. Okay, so there's one way to make an envelope journal. Now, the only thing I need to do is, where'd that edge go? It kind of cleaned itself up. It kind of just laid back down. This edge was sticking up a little bit when I gave it another score and gave it another fold to widen the spine. But it kind of cleaned itself up and laid down. So maybe that's okay. So there you go. Easy, easy. Now we're going to get fun. Now it's going to get fun. Let's say you don't have a bunch of envelopes. Let's say you want to make a certain size. Let's say, hold on. You're going to like this. Try not to trip over the cord. Okay, this is going to be bright, or this might be busy. I don't want to throw anybody off. Mindy's got vertigo. I don't want to freak you out when I put this in front of the camera, okay? Just blink or be ready. Maybe you have a sister that gives you a bunch of wallpaper. I've already done a video on making your own envelopes. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to make envelopes. And we're going to make a journal out of making envelopes. How about that? And I picked this real pretty wine stuff. I like it. Mindy got a bunch of wallpaper sample books. So I'm going to show you guys how to make envelopes. And we're going to make an envelope journal out of wallpaper DIY envelopes. Anybody have an opinion on any of this? Anybody want to pick one? I think that's too busy, so I'm going to say no thank you to that. Unless you all like it, I'm going to use the post somehow. So I think that's a little busy. Uncertain if I like the contrast. I don't think we need contrast. We're going to make 2 envelopes. We might want contrast. We might. But the flowers are kind of big and they'd be just half the flower. Let's see. I think the scale of that one's a little big. So I'm thinking, how about those 2? They match because that's the same diamond pattern. So that's what we're going to do. Unless anyone has an opinion. I love making your own envelopes. Yeah. So I thought as much as I love making envelopes and envelope journals, look, that'd be a nice inside. So maybe we can make them that big. No. Well, that's wonky anyway. So shoot. Well, that's too bad. Well, we can trim the bottom off or something. Okay. Well, these are going to be big too. Okay. And if I was real good, I'd do them both at the same time, but we're not. Okay. So this will be our fold down. How about that? That'd be a good flap, wouldn't it? And I don't like that off center, but I don't want to cut. I don't know. We'll trim it in a second. We'll see. Okay, that looks about right. So here's all there is to making an envelope. And I'm going to have to take this off because it's too little, even though it's wonderful. Okay. So this is all there is to making an envelope. So in an envelope, what do you need? You need a top flap, a back body, and side flaps to fold under to attach. That's all you need in an envelope. This doesn't go all the way to the top, right? Let's line those lines up. That'll get us. Anybody ever wallpapered? So I feel like I'm wallpapering lining the pattern up. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So we need side flaps, and this is going to be our top flap. Boy, that's going to be a pretty envelope, isn't it? We won't even have to cover these up. Maybe I'll attach them a different way so we can see our envelope. How about that? Let me cut. Okay. And then what do we got here? And then that is, it's all of that. Okay. Then that'll match. And then that will give us a little bit to fold in. Okay. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is this is going to be this outer edge is going to be our flap to fold in. We're going to just use this line and trim this off, and then this will be our flap. We need an extra flap to fold in. We need to trim this away, which will make that flap, right? So I'm going to leave this purple line, and I'm just cutting along the gold. Because our anatomy of an envelope is just two flaps, front, back, and flap, top flap. So we are making our side flaps right now. And so we have clearance, and I'm out of camera, I'm sorry. Let's see. And so we have clearance. You cut away your score line. You cut your score line off. And then you will have clearance. And I will show you that in a second. Because if you don't, then you're going to be left with some extra material hanging out in your fold. So if you just cut your score line off, and I will show you, these scissors make the best stop. Wherever I want it to stop, I just put them down. I want that to stop on that side of the score line. So it did. That one I did pretty good. These scissors that I put in my favorites, I forgot to mention that they're great for envelopes, because wherever you want them to stop, they stop and don't cut extra. So these scissors are my best. You want to use your best point scissors for this part. Right? Are you all talking? Am I paying attention? I use magazine pages to make envelopes similar. Oh, cool. Okay. So then we are going to, I see I didn't do a neat enough. No, I did. It just looks, no, not quite. It's kind of hard to. And I might be messing myself up here trying to do this along a line. You know, it's going to be impossible to get that perfect. But I have an idea of how I want to construct this. So we are on the outside of this. We're right along the gold. And I'm out of camera again, but I'll be cutting towards you. Hold on. Because I want to show you one more thing. These are my best straight cutters, and those are my best pointed end cutters. And I do rely on my scissors to do the best job for me. Now, you want, and we'll trim that away and clean that up. It'll be okay. You want this flap to end under here. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to start on the outside. Try and find a pencil. Okay, we want it to end under this line because that will finish it neatly. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to start cutting here, and we're going to go up to here. And right here is our fold line. And remember I said we want to cut away our fold. So when we fold all this together, we don't end up with interference, okay? So we're going to cut from this dot to that dot. Clear as mud? Okay. And we're going to do the same thing over here. And I'm just marking a dot just to show you. So we want it to end below this line. So we're going to start right here. And we want it to end on the inside and below. We've got this fold, and then this will be a score line when we fold it. So we want to end on the inside of both of those scores. We haven't scored it yet, but we're going to. So we want it to end right here and right here. Does that make sense? Because you cut away your score line. Okay? So we're going to start right here. And we're going to cut up to that dot. So that will give us the best design, I guess, for lack of a better word. I'm going to score that. No, I'm not. No need. It's okay. I'm just going to fold it along the goat. And some of this doesn't apply because you won't be using wallpaper with gold line. And that looks pretty straight. Let's come this way just a hair. So that's pretty good. We've got about the same amount of gold showing all the way along there. And the same thing here. I don't even know what time it is. How long have I been on this time? An hour. And the time you wrap it up. So see, now that since we cut away our score line, when we fold this up, it should clear it nicely. Yes, it did. Now, what we have is a problem because you never want your you want your envelope to look like an envelope. So I can't say here. This is what we're after. So I can't say I'm happy with all this meeting up like that. So what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna have to do this on a cutting board, is we are going to trim this down. And we're just going to trim it from there to there. Because I don't like it matching, flap for flap. So we're going to just trim this that much. That might have been too much. Okay. I can fix it. Sometimes your scissors, your cutter goes under the ruler if you angle it too much. And I think that's what I did. Okay. So then when we fold it up, it will give us that. Okay. So we're going to go from there to there. Yes, and I cut off the whole gold line, so we will do that. And I will try not to go under the ruler. Every, micron matters when you're doing this, trying to get it neat and perfect. We got a bit of a glitch there. See there? How nice that looks? And then our sides come under this line, because if you do it like that, it just doesn't look as good, I don't think. See how neat that looks? Now we are going to cut off the exact same amount on the top. Okay? We're going to go from right there to right there. We're going to do the same thing. We're cutting off that tip because we overfolded it past the cut line. You know how sometimes you end up with a little bitty tip sticking out? Okay. And I'm trying not to go under the ruler. Okay. Now another trick. My favorite trick. Whenever you cut angles, you can't use your corner rounder. It won't let you get to the corners. Right? Because it's an angle. So these curvy scissors will cut a corner. And you might have to maneuver them a little bit. You might have to, go along the curve and make it. You can do this in pieces. Especially this, since it's bigger, we want a big curve on this. So you can do it in a couple of pieces. You don't have to do it all in one fell cut. So I'm going to start there, and I can move up and I can round it. And I think it looks just great. And it really makes it look sharp. See? Doesn't that look professional? There. Isn't that great? Here, I'll show you on this. See? How great is that? And then we're going to do the same at the top. And this is aged, and I think I'm okay with that. I don't think it's ugly. I think it's great. Of course, you could cover that up or stencil or spray it or ink it or something if you didn't like it, but I'm okay with that. It's not quite perfect, but we can fix it. Have y'all ever used curved scissors for something like when you're corner round instead of a corner rounder? That was one of my tips that I shared with my sister, but she's left-handed and it doesn't work for her. But like if you're making little file folders or tabs or something, and you can round all of that with your curved scissors. Okay, so there and there. Nope. There and there. Oh, that's so pretty, isn't it? And I feel a little bit of bulk down here in the corner where that's not cleared away enough. Oh, it's just folding up. Okay. And I'm thinking I might have to use double-sided tape on this. What do you think? I think that's what I'll do. And put your glue or your tape on this part of it, because if you put it on this part up too high, then you've got glue to nowhere. So just do it on the bottom flap that folds up, and then you won't have extra glue outside of your range, that you need. See what I'm saying? I mean, this is not, well, I say it's not going anywhere, and then the one I sent Janae was unglued, so I'm full of crap, right? But crap. Oh well, I'll just put a dot of glue there. I didn't get the tape close enough to the edge, so that will take a dot of glue. Let's burnish this down a little bit. Pick this up. know what? These seem so perfect that I'm not going to assemble it like a normal envelope journal. I will have to come up with something different because I don't want to cover it up. It's already finished. So this, we don't have to, insert the flaps. And then, like the other ones, I attached the flaps and then covered all of that up. This, we're going to leave it. And then I will come up with a spine or maybe one of these borders to attach, something. I've got this border, maybe I can attach that. Look, that's almost the same line. This part, just enough to cover the inside and do it on the outside, But I'm going to make another envelope and then I will figure out how to attach them. If y'all have any ideas, let me know. So that's day one. We went over my envelope. We went over my envelope stash. We went over Amazon warehouse. We went over my envelope journal reasons, why I started making them. We went over how to attach them and cover them and just ink the edges, so then you can just cut a shorter piece. And then we made another flap. We covered the inside. We got it to fold. We added a score line. We made an envelope out of wallpaper, and I think it's gorgeous. What do you think? I think it is absolutely gorgeous. That's exciting. How big is it? For something that big too, right? And I think that's all for now. And part 2 will be putting this together with another envelope that I make out of wallpaper. And I think that's all for this time. And I want to talk about paper next time. I want to talk about what kind of paper you use and why. Okay? Thanks so much for watching. Sorry it took 3 tries. Now I'm hardwired to the internet, so we shouldn't have any more Wi-Fi glitches, alrighty? Thanks so much, and there will be a part 2 in a day or two, alrighty? Thanks so much. Love you, bye.